Hey guys, I want to talk a little bit about fly balls and base running and how far do we get off the bag. So typically we're taught from a young age that we're either tagging or we're halfway. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is that when we think of halfway, the bases are 90 feet apart. We think of 45 feet as halfway, and that is not what halfway means in this regard. In a technical sense, it does, but in terms of baseball, it really the defining term, it just should really depend on the situation and how far off the bag that you can get off and still be able to retreat and be back safely, like where there's not a play to where I'm having to slide. So in the instance that you see on your screen, I've got bases loaded, but there's a ball hit to deep right center. I want to talk a little bit about where we want to be setting up. And obviously, some of this is going to depend on the body language that the players are showing you, but I'll start at third base because it's the easiest. So with less than two outs, we're going to be tagging. Okay, it doesn't matter where this ball is. There's no reward for tagging home plate 5 steps sooner than you could have, or you knew that it was going to be there. We're going to be on the bag, and then once we see the ball down, we're going to tag. Even if it looks obvious, there's no reason to be there. This guy is not going to be in threat of running us over, running past us, so we need to be on the bag. Okay, the guy here in this play is really going to read the play. If it looks like, if it's deep over here, so right center and right field for the guy on second base is a lot different than left center and left field. And I would even include center field on this. So from center field to right center, a ball that an outfielder has a chance to camp under and catch that's near the fence is a great opportunity for us to move back. It's going to take a really, really strong outfield arm, probably a mid-80s outfield arm to really have a shot at throwing us out over here and a good solid throw. So we're going to go ahead and be off the bag in this case. But we could be on the bag tagging, and then once we realize that their backs are turned, they're not going to be able to, we can kind of start to shuffle off and keeping our eye on the ball. We don't run away from it. But let's just say this guy kind of realizes that this has got a very low chance of being scored. He's going to be here, okay, because if this ball drops and we're standing on second base, there's a lot less chance. The guy on first base, again, we're not going halfway. Okay, that's halfway. Okay, if this ball gets caught right there, you could almost crawl on your hands and knees back to first base. That's not what we're looking for. How far can you get off this base and still be able to get back safely? Okay, and in right field, right center, it's going to look different than it would be down the line. If this ball was over here, that might mean that instead of being here, I'm going to be maybe more in this area. Okay, because it's less distance, it's a shorter throw. Okay, but in this case, the ball's here. You can even have your foot on the bag with your back facing this way. So now I got three guys essentially in this baseline. We could score all 3 runs based off of that. And it's just simply from having good knowledge of base running and understanding, okay, I know my speed. I know if he catches that ball, I can sprint back to here and be just fine. I'm not going to have a problem getting back. Okay, if we flip this, the only thing that really changes is, honestly, it's probably a little bit easier to actually see. So this runner's got an easier chance because he's moving around to the left. If this play's in front of him, he can see it. This runner has got his back towards home plate. He's watching the play with his chest towards the outfield. And this guy's still on the bag, and we can have a pretty good idea of what we're seeing. And again, if he catches this, we'll still score a run, and then these guys can retreat. If it does look like he's camping under this, or it looks like there's a higher probability of him catching, he can start to work his way back there. But again, understanding that the chances of him being here and scoring with that ball there are a lot less, just simply because of the throw where it's coming from on this side of the field. Okay, kind of finish up with a little bit of a challenging situation if you were the runner on third base. So the ball being blooped over here in shallow right field. So if somebody was obviously camped here, we're not going to be able to tag and score because this throw is rather close to home plate, and it's just not going to have much of a chance of being safe. So if there's a situation where we feel like, because the second baseman is calling it and he's running this way and he's going to tag, we could retreat to do that. But ideally, we want to be off the bag, 15 to 20 feet down the line, again, and a distance that we know if he were to catch and then fire a throwback over here, we wouldn't have a play made on us. But we want to be in this area because if that ball drops, I don't want to have to run 90 feet. In this case, I'm only having to run 60 or 70 feet in order to score, just simply because I was smart in getting off the base the way that I should have. In the same way, this guy can do the same thing. So he's getting off the base into this area just in case it drops in. And this guy, the exact same thing. Keep in mind the first baseman's probably rotating back this way. The pitcher may be coming over, but chances are he's probably backing up home. And so you have to kind of obviously rely on your coaching staff here. But getting off the bag as far as you can with the ability to be able to get back and not have somebody sneak in is the goal here, not to be halfway or to stand right next to the base because you know he's going to catch it. Okay, how far can I get off and still get back? Remember how you used to play kickball in PE class. Okay, you wouldn't even have thought of taking risks like that. You would have just taken the risks. And in this case, obviously, it means more, but sometimes we get a little tentative on the base path, and we forget to think like someone who's really taking their time to think about the situation should.